Hey guys, welcome back to the lecture number 5 in the series of Spring Boot, and today we will be looking at the assignment that I gave you. So the assignment that I gave you was to basically create the API get product by ID, and I hope you were able to do it. It was simple enough. If you weren't able to do it or were facing any sort of issues, no worries. I will be picking it up in this lecture, and then we will move on to a post mapping where I will be saving the product into the database, and then again you guys will pick up the product type to save in the database. All right, let's get into the lecture. So as you can see on the screen, so the first thing what we need to do is we create a entry for get product. We create a new get mapping, and we do a get product. Now, one thing I actually forgot to mention in the last lecture, so I would like you to, so I'm guessing you did the implementation via path variable, but I would like you to change it to a request param, so just so you have a reference of what you need to do in case you have to ever do a request param. So if you don't want to change, that's all fine and good. That's up to you, but this is fine as well. Either way is fine. It's just like I wanted to you have a look at both the ends. All right. Now, so we have this request param, and yeah, request param product ID. Now we are just making a service call. We'll go into the service. So into the service, we just have a simple get product by ID, get product by ID function call, and all we are doing is I created a product repository. So actually, I'll go to the entity first. So yeah, this is what the entity looks like. So one thing I remember telling you in last lecture to maybe make this via the many to one and one to one mapping. So if you were able to do all fine and good, but either way is fine. Like we can still use this string as well. And I just told that method you guys to try that because so you will get an experience of it and like searching new thing on the Spring Boot, so you get a hang of going around the documentation maybe and examples so you can get around it, but this way is either fine as well. And we'll see in a moment that if what happens if we send a product type which is not present into the database. So we'll get into that when we create the product via a post, but for the time being a string is fine as well. If you have it in by the other way by the many to one or by the annotation, that's good and all. So you can keep it as it is. You don't have to change it. The code for the post mapping will change slightly. Again, repository, we just have no other changes. So we just do product repository, extends JP repository, product comma string, product is the data type, and string is the primary key which we are using. Now going back to the service, so all I do is an optional for optional, which I'm doing the find by ID. Then I'm doing if optional present, I just create a product, and so sorry, not creating a product. So I'm getting the product from the optional, and I created a new data type product return. So this is just a simple modification. So yeah, I do that, and all I do is I return from here. Return the object from the service. So my service class is here. So we just return the product. If it is not present, we return null. And so yeah, in this scenario, we are returning null, but you can have, so actually, yeah, I'll do that right now. I just remembered a good thing. So we go to the back to the controller. So we come here, and actually, let me bring this out. So product return is equal to new, not new. We need to do this now. All right, so what I'll do is I need the error code for data not found. So I don't remember the data codes by heart. I just need to look it up. So you will all usually look it up as well. So this is not a big issue. So what do we need? We need HTTP error codes. Right, so we go over here. So it is actually a successful response, but there is no data. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll use the 204. Yeah, and so going back over here, so what we'll do is if product return is equal to null, return new response entity, and this will be, let's say, no data found, and we'll do 204 else return new response entity. We'll do product return, comma, this will take the value of 200. And let's try this application. Let me bring this application up and then we'll try it. Let's see what we get. Okay, so the application is up. Now going back to Native ID, we'll go back to here. So this is get product by ID is this. So right now it's working fine. We are getting the response. We are getting the status as 200. Okay. So all looks good. Let me just maybe change it to this is an erroneous. Okay, so we don't get any object back. And all we get is 204, no content. So I'm not sure about what happened to the string and all, but it seems like in case of 204, we are not returning. I mean, this body is not returning anything. Okay, so that's quite peculiar thing that I found myself for the first time as well. But yeah, so this is working. All right. Now we'll get into the post mapping and we will be now trying to save an object. So let me go to IntelliJ. So first things first, we need a DTO. So what we need is a request type. So what we'll do is a product save request, let's say. And again, we'll annotate it with data. And we'll need a constructor as well. So we'll do all of constructor. So let's create private string product ID. No, actually, we don't need product ID. Because as I said, like with a product ID, we will be using as a null, not as a null, but as a random UUID. So I will do that. So private string name, private integer quantity, private float price, and private string product type ID. All right, now our object is ready. Now going to the controller. So like the get mapping, there's the post mapping. The things, these options are quite intuitive by itself, so nothing too much to wonder about what's the annotation. Again, so we'll keep this as void since we are not returning anything, we are just saving it in the database. We'll call the save product, and here we have a direct annotation of request body. So basically this is telling that this body is to be expected. So if I do product return, sorry, not return, so this will be a product save request, a product save request. Now this will just be a service call, so it will be product service dot save product, and this will just be request. Now we'll go into the service and we'll create this method. So actually what we need to do is we need to create a new product is equal to new product. Now we will be using the constructor here. So string.value of UUID.random. So this will create a random UUID, and this is a part of the UUID class is part of a Java utils package. So this you will be getting it everywhere, so no need to worry about that. Now request dot get name, request dot get quantity, request dot get price, and request dot get product ID. Just one thing, just make sure you are, when you're using a structure, just make sure that these are in the correct order, because if you let's for example, if you switch these two things, So let's say if you switch two different data types, so that's not that big of an issue because you will get in compiler error and you can fix it at this moment. But the issue comes when you switch, let's say, name and the product type ID. So this will cause an issue. So make sure to see that these are in the correct order. Now what we'll do here, product ID. Now all we need to do is product repository dot save and product. And one thing for the people who implemented it via many to one mapping, so what you'll need to do is you'll have to do basically you'll need to do this function call again. You'll get the product type from the product type ID, and you will have a product type. So basically you'll have this return object, not the return object actually, you'll have this option, this product type. So instead of the type ID as a string, you will be putting the product type, and your product save request, sorry, not save request, yeah, save request will still be type ID. So basically you will have get this ID, you will go and fetch the value from the repository and just save it. And again, so as I mentioned, so this dot save again is part of the library, is part of basically the part of JPA repository, and it's a bunch of helpful things that will do at least the basic CRUD operations. All right, so I think that's it. Let's just test it out. All right, and let me just go to this. Yeah, in the meantime, basically what you'll do in Postman, you'll pass this thing as the name. Basically, you'll have the localhost 91, and you'll just have product. You need to change this method to post, and you need to create a body like this. So you can put a different name, then quantity, price, and product type ID. So yes, over here, so there's a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. So as I said, like if you have a string implementation, even that will be fine. So let's run this. So since we had no voids, so this is returning 200, okay, and that's a good thing. And if we go into the database, I'll refresh it, and this is our new object. And now product type is 123. Now let's do product type is equal to, let's say, null. I think. I'm not sure if this works or not. Let's see. So yes, 200. It's still giving us 200. We'll go to database, we'll refresh, and we are getting product type is null. Since we did not make it a compulsory column, so that is fine. So because like even if you think about the scenario, it is possible that some of the times that this product type is basically, what do you call it? You bring the new product, but that doesn't really fit into a specific type. So when, for the example, let's say when fidget spinners were just introduced, so it is possible that the first fidget spinner on Amazon was placed in a random kind of a category, or you could have like a miscellaneous category, for example, as a default one. But yeah, let's not get into that. Now let's come to the important part. If we have this as incorrect, so let's say 1233. So yeah, actually one more thing. So if you just pass like this, so I'm guessing it will not find this. So 500 server error. Let's see what happens over here. Yeah, so it is saying it cannot update a child row and constraint fails. So basically it is trying to go into the database, it is trying to create a new row, but when it goes to product type, it is trying to enter 1233, but it is failing because since we have a foreign key constraint over here. So that's all good. So yeah, that looks all good, and that's pretty much it for this, I guess. And actually one more thing, what I was thinking about, we could change the status code. So yeah, for creation, actually you have a 201 created code. So that is one thing that I would like to change. Where's my controller? Yeah. Okay, so in that scenario, we'll have to return a response entity. So I'll do a return new response entity. HTTP status code dot value of 200. Sorry, 201. That's the status code now. And So you don't really have to provide a body over here, but as is this case. So response entity basically has two types of constructor. One is with the body, one is without the body. I mean, two of many constructors. And I'll go to Postman, run. So right now this is the error thing. I'll run this again. So yeah, 201 created. So now uh, you don't have to return anything in the body like item created. That's like up to you. But yeah, 201 is signifying that we have successfully stored in the database. Now, one more thing you might be thinking is like finding by name and finding, because like UUIDs are like random. Like you don't expect you to remember this kind of a garbage UUID. Instead, you would remember either the name, or might want to do a query like where quantity is greater than that or price is greater than this, like higher, lower, or descending order. So we will get into that into the next video lecture. I think that's it for today. Yeah, and yeah, just kind of a exercise kind of a place. So what you will do is basically do the save repository for product type. So again, you'll have to create a new object. It'll be product type ID and description. I mean, since ours is quite a simple example, so you don't exactly have to create a new one. Basically, what you could do is you can just go to product type and you can just use this. But it is actually a good practice to have a separate object for request and separate object for return. So I would suggest you to just follow the good practice, or you can go either way. That's completely up to you. Alright guys, so I think that's it for this video, and I hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and do comment what would you like to see next. So I do have a plan for this one. I mean the Spring Boot, I do have a plan for about like maybe 5 to 10 more videos, and then I'll go into uncharted territory as well. So if I guess we can learn on the go on the internet, or I can learn first and then I will make a video. Alright guys, thank you for watching and have a good day.